Hey, Kevin here, top 100 financial advisor, two-time author, one-time bestseller, and we're here to talk about the stock market and your savings account and generational wealth and your family. So let's go ahead and jump into it. There is a viral post that is going around. It started back in July. It has 21,000 shares on it, at least right now. And it discusses how two parents are saving $150 every single month for their kid. By the time the kid turns 18, they'll have like 32,000 and some change. That is good. You are planning ahead. You have an 18-year plan. However, I think there is a few things that you could do or that any of us can do and should be aware of that can help you even more than just having that. Because when I think about it, and the way we should all think, is you're only getting paid a 0.5% in bank accounts today, and that's likely to continue for the next several years. I don't think it'll be 18 years, but it'll be quite a while. That's not all that much. And by the time 18 years comes by, we're talking 2038 at this rate, how much is everything going to go up and become more expensive than what you have in your savings account? You got to be a little bit more aggressive in my view, and I'm going to show you why. A regular index fund, VTSMX, that's the Vanguard Total Stock Market Index Fund, is one of the oldest ones. Plain, it just invests in every stock out there. It's very diversified, relatively safe compared to like investing in just one single stock. You did the same 150,000. I keep wanting to say 150,000. You keep doing the same $100 a month for 18 years. The data says that you have $117,000. $117,000. That is more than 3 times the amount that you would have in savings. More than 3 times. That's a lot by investing the exact same amount. Now, some people will say, well, it's not guaranteed. No, it is not. But we know, going all the way back to 2002, this fund has been negative only 3 times. That's it. 2002, dot-com bust. 2008, clearly that was a Great Recession. In 2018, it is not negative this year. Surprisingly, yes, despite all the stuff that's been going on, it's still, the stock market is still not negative. That's incredible, but also the truth. So you want to make sure that you keep those things in context and think of all the things we've gone through since 2002, all the elections, all the pandemics and crises. We've got what, Ebola, swine flu, coronavirus, and whatever else, mad cow disease, all the stuff I forgot in between. We already talked about the dot-com bust. We talked about the Great Recession, and you still would have had $117,000. Imagine the difference and the wealth gap between someone who has just 32,000, which is great, right? And someone who has 117,000. That's the difference between a decent car and a small house. That's the difference between having all of your college paid for and maybe a class or two based on how expensive college is getting. This is why you want to shift your mindset and move a little towards investing. That doesn't mean that savings is a bad thing. It is a good thing. Having that amount of money is more than what I had and more than what most 18-year-olds have. But there is a huge gap between the two. This is also kind of goes back to the stats that we were talking about last week, where I think it was African Americans are only investing, 33% of all African Americans are investing in the stock market, while 66% or so of white Americans are investing in the stock market. This is a part, it's not the biggest part, but it is one part of why the wealth gap is what it is, because we may be given the same amount of money, but we may use it differently. And we're talking a 3x gap at least between the two, not including interest and everything else. So I want to read you a few stats and a few numbers to kind of help you and then help you to set these things up, because I'm a solutions-oriented person. Also, make sure you hit the share button. I should have said it at the beginning of the video. I always mean to. I didn't. I'm sorry. Make sure you hit the share button. There's also a link above, buildingbread.com/2000. I give you a chart of how much you can save and when your kid can become a millionaire. And then you also want to follow along with emails because it explains each part of it. So if you just go get the chart, don't get mad at me. You got to go and read the emails too. All right. So as we are doing this, I want to show you or read to you a few other things to take a look at. All right, so $150 a month, VTSMX, and almost any index fund will get you that as 117,000. If you put it in a savings account, you actually have about 46,000. The reason why that's the case is because interest over 18 years, it does add up, but you're only getting what, like 10 or 15,000, like not a whole lot. But if you put it in a stock like Costco, you'd have $254,000 just there, right? So that's the difference between risk and reward. No risk, you only get 46,000. Medium risk, what I would consider a medium risk, you would have in an index fund, and higher risk is putting in a stock, and because you never know what's going to happen with one single company. So that's where you get the returns there. But also, how do you set it up? You have two options. You can have a custodial account, which is also known as a UTMA account. That means that you're going to invest on the behalf of the child. You can invest as much as you want. And once they are 18 or 21, depending on your state, that becomes their money. It is theirs. They do what they want to do with it. You want to teach them how to manage it. Or you can do a 529, which means that you are saving for the purpose of college. No taxes, depending on your state's rules, if you use it for college expenses. Now, most people say, well, what happens? What do I do if my kid doesn't go, or things change, or college is free? You can still use the money. You're probably going to pay some portion in taxes, some portion in penalty. Now, the way I would phrase that, though, is even if you pay taxes and penalties on 117,000, you're still going to have more than the 46,000 that you would have saved in savings. So either way that you look at it, I'm still going to invest the money is how I would do it. Now you can do both, because some people ask me, well, which one do you do? Or why did you pick this one over the other? I just do both. So maybe I'm doing 75 and 75, so I can be flexible. Also, if you don't use a 529, you can just rename it after the next kid or yourself or whomever you want to, so the money can still be used. All right, so that is it for me. I want to make sure that I'm recording, because I did this video like twice and didn't record. So it looks like we're recording, so that's great. But again, make sure you share the video. Make sure you go to buildingbread.com/2000 so that you can learn even more about creating generational wealth and what may work for you. Know the stock market is not guaranteed, but based on the data we have, it is more solid and a better opportunity than just putting in savings alone, but it doesn't make just savings or putting things in savings by itself a bad thing. All right, that is it for me. I'll talk to y'all later.